नमस्कार, वेलकम टू दिनामी इकोनॉमी एंड इकोनॉमिक्स। इस वीडियो में हम जानेंगे दैट हाउ पोजीशन ऑफ IS curve and slope of IS curve is affected, or the factors which affect slope of the IS curve and position of the IS curve. That is, in which condition the IS curve shifts upward and downward, or it becomes steeper or flatter. सबसे पहले हम IS कर्व का इक्वेशन डिराइव करेंगे, जिससे हमको ये समझने में आसानी होगी कि वो कौन से फैक्टर्स हैं जिन पर IS कर्व डिपेंड करता है। तो IS कर्व शो करता है इक्विलिब्रियम ऑफ प्रोडक्ट मार्केट, एंड फॉर प्रोडक्ट मार्केट टू बी इन इक्विलिब्रियम एग्रीगेट डिमांड शुड इक्वल एग्रीगेट सप्लाई, सो Y is equal to C plus I. Consumption function equation is this one, C is equal to A plus BY. A is autonomous consumption, B is propensity to consume. This is investment function, I is equal to I0 minus HR. I0 is autonomous investment, that is the investment which is independent of rate of interest. H is the interest sensitivity of investment, and HR is the induced investment, that is the part of investment which depends upon rate of interest. For equilibrium, Y is equal to C plus Y. So these functions have been written in place of consumption and investment, and we have this equation. Taking By to this side, we get Y minus By is equal to A plus I0 minus HR. Taking Y common, we have 1 minus By is equal to A plus I0 minus HR. So HR is equal to, taking HR to this side and taking this to this side, we have HR is equal to A plus I0 minus 1 minus By. So R is equal to A plus I0 upon H minus 1 minus B upon HY. This is the equation of IS function, and it is negatively sloped. यहां पर हमने तीन कर्व ड्रॉ किए हैं। ये है सेविंग कर्व, इनकम सेविंग, दिस इज इन्वेस्टमेंट कर्व और इन्वेस्टमेंट फंक्शन, इन्वेस्टमेंट रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट, एंड दिस इज IS कर्व, इनकम एंड रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट। सबसे पहले हम पोजीशन की बात करेंगे कि किन परिस्थितियों में IS कर्व ऊपर खिसक जाता है या नीचे खिसक जाता है। ये डिपेंड करता है इंटरसेप्ट पर। दिस इज इंटरसेप्ट, और ये इंटरसेप्ट की वैल्यू हमको मिलती है जब y इज इक्वल टू 0। y 0 होगा तो यहां पर हम आएंगे IS कर्व के अकॉर्डिंग, ये इंटरसेप्ट हो जाएगा। इस IS कर्व के इक्वेशन में इफ वी पुट वैल्यू ऑफ y 0, then R is equal to A plus I0 upon H. So there are three factors which affect the position of IS curve, and these three factors are: number 1, autonomous consumption; number 2, autonomous investment; and number 3, interest sensitivity of investment. अगर A में कोई वृद्धि होती है, I0 में कोई वृद्धि होती है, या H में कमी होती है, तो ये पूरा का पूरा जो वैल्यू है वो बढ़ जाता है। In that case, IS curve shifts upward like this. Similarly, if there is decline in A, I0, or increase in H, then IS curve shifts downward. So we can say that position of IS curve or IS curve shifts upward if there is rise in A, I0, or decrease in H. Similarly, IS curve shifts downward if there is decrease in A, I0, or increase in H. Thus, there are three factors which affect position of IS curve: autonomous consumption, autonomous investment, and interest sensitivity of investment. These affect IS curves upward or downward shifting. Now we come to the slope. Slope of this curve we can have by using calculus dr dy, this will be slope, and this is equal to 0 minus 1 minus b upon h. So this is the slope of IS curve. Obviously there are two factors which are affecting slope of the IS curve. One is 1 minus b, this is nothing but MPS, marginal propensity to save, and H or interest sensitivity of investment, or we can say that slope of investment curve. These two factors affect slope of the IS curve. First, saving. MPS is also slope of the saving curve. So if there is increase in MPS or there is increase in slope of the saving curve, in that case slope of the IS curve also increases. Like this, if this becomes steeper like this, then IS curve also becomes steeper like this. If saving curve becomes flatter like this, then IS curve also becomes flatter like this. So there is positive relationship between slope of the saving curve and slope of the IS curve. Now we come to the other factor, that is H, or slope of the investment curve. Keep in mind that H is not the slope of the investment curve, rather slope of the investment curve is 1 upon H. H is in fact interest sensitivity of investment, that is how the investment is affected if there is 1% change in rate of interest. Slope of the investment curve is also a factor affecting slope of the IS curve. Now what happens? We can see, if investment curve becomes steeper like this, means if slope of the investment curve increases, then also slope of the IS curve increases. And if investment curve becomes flatter, then slope of the IS curve also becomes flatter. So there is positive relationship between slope of the saving curve and slope of the investment curve with respect to the slope of IS curve. IS curve slope directly depends upon slope of the saving curve and slope of the investment curve. Now, two extreme situations. One case in which IS curve becomes horizontal like this one, and other case in which IS curve becomes vertical like this one. What are the conditions in which we can have this kind of IS curve or this kind of IS curve? First, this situation. If IS curve is horizontal, it means its slope is 0. So this should also be 0, and this can be 0 under two conditions. 1 minus b is 0, or 1 upon h, or slope of the investment curve is 0. Since Keynesian proposition is that marginal propensity to consume can never be 1, so 1 minus b can never be 0. So the only condition in which slope of the IS curve can be 0 is that 1 upon h is 0, and 1 upon h 0 means slope of the investment curve is 0. So to have a horizontal IS curve, we must have a horizontal IS curve, investment curve. Investment curve being horizontal means that investment curve is perfectly elastic. That is, at a particular rate of interest, infinite amount of investment is available in the economy. This is the condition. Now, the second condition in which IS curve can be vertical. To have vertical IS curve, obviously this must be infinite. This must be infinite. And this can be infinite only when h is equal to 0. And if h is equal to 0, it means that investment is fixed. It becomes independent of rate of interest. To say this in other words is investment curve should be like this. This means investment curve becomes perfectly inelastic with respect to the rate of interest. If this situation happens, in that case we will have this kind of IS curve, that is vertical. So to have a perfectly elastic IS curve or horizontal IS curve, investment curve should be perfectly elastic, and to have a vertical IS curve, investment curve should be perfectly inelastic. Since we have already said that according to Keynes, marginal propensity to consume can never be 1, so we have excluded 1 minus b being 0 from this एनालिसिस। इस वीडियो में बस इतना ही। वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो लाइक करें, शेयर करें, सब्सक्राइब करें। वीडियो देखने के लिए आपका धन्यवाद।